Oh my God.
On your side so I can see what you're doing right now.
It's crazy.
Oh my God. And now we're on YouTube. Hello, everybody.
Now we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. Welcome to the bold and beautiful mini spotlights. Yes, we are back. I am James Lott Jr., one of your hosts here. Of course, I would not do this alone because this is my favorite show to do with the girl who's splendid in purple, Miss Tami Covea.
Hey, y'all.
And down below in her partition behind her, we love coming all the way from the middle of the country, Amanda Russ.
Hi, guys. Tami, you stole my line.
I don't know why I say that. People are like,
hey,
oh, are you from the South? I'm like, no, I'm from San Francisco, but hey, y'all.
It's so funny. Are we stealing her lines? We don't do that. We don't do that here. No. Okay. So this person, I was doing a little research. So for this show, this Bold Beautiful recap that I've been doing for almost 5 years, kind of crazy. My first episode was with the former Thomas Forrester, Pearson Fode, my friend, who came on to help me start the show. He came on several times. He left. Then a year and a half ago, this person came on our show. So this show is all about Thomas Forrester, apparently. It's all about Thomas Forrester. And he stood the test of time against Tami and all others out there. And now we have so much to talk about. He's had a lot of stories since then. And we're very, very happy and honored to have back on the show, Matt Atkinson. Hello, Matt.
Hey y'all. I'm actually from the South, so I could say you could say that, Tami. You know that. Like Southerners love when people say y'all. It's not like cultural appropriation or anything. Say it all the time. We love it.
All right. I shall.
And so before we begin, we're going to do my church announcements. We have the Wine Army Spotlight just happened. That is out right now. We really discuss it. We really, really do. We had to leave out a few things, but we'll talk about that next time. But that's out right now on all streaming services and YouTube. Then we did the Forever and a Day after show, and that was a lot of fun. And they have that on right now too. That's out there. After this show, GH Mini Spotlight, me, Lucretia, and Frank are going to break down Franco's death and all things are happening on that show. And that's at 4 p.m. Edition Days, our buddies over there have James Reynolds coming on for Days of Our Lives. Check out Edition Days, their channel. And now here we are. I think it's what they're doing. That's what I'm going to say right now. Let's just shorten it up because we have a special guest in the house. Matt, first of all, how have you been?
How have I been?
How have you been?
I've been great. I'm not as good as since you mentioned how much time has gone by since we've seen each other last. But now I'm a little bit in a pit of a depression. It's so long, but no, I'm good. I'm really good. This year's been just weird and crazy, and I'm sure it has been for everybody. Everyone, it seems like I was just having this conversation the other day. It seems like everyone right now or within the last year is experiencing and going through like massive amounts of changes. And if anything, then that's the positive that's come out of, this whole last year. And change is always hard, but it's also, good and it creates growth. So, you take the good with the bad, but I guess I am a lot better because hopefully I've grown a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, we've noticed this growth.
Welcome to the beard game.
And
You've noticed some growth, yeah.
We've noticed this growth.
Oh, I want to get your opinion on this, Tami, Miss I Hate Thomas. Tell me, what do you think about the beard and the hair?
So I thought it was very appropriate because it made Thomas look more diabolic and sinister. And loving the long hair. So it's grown on me. It's grown on me.
Well, it's grown on me too. So, but okay, that's good. That's good. All right. I just want to get your opinion because it's
thumbs
like,
up.
Oh, I get a thumbs up
You get a thumbs up.
from Tami?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Talk about changes and growth. Yeah, we'll start with the thumbs up. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. It's the first positive thing you've ever said about me ever in the history of I've known you.
Well, you
I
know,
think maybe once you posted, he's not so bad in person or something like that. But other than that, it's been like all just
Well,
Thomas awful. You're basically you're Brooks parallel. You're like,
oh my God,
I
that's
just
so
can't
funny.
stand Thomas. Thomas is evil. Thomas is terrible. Thomas is the worst thing since ever. It's just the
he
worst.
wasn't pushed, he fell.
What did you say? She pushed and he fell?
He wasn't pushed, he fell.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
he
was the
wasn't
whole-
pushed. Yeah, that's not on film or anything.
So just relish it.
Oh, I relish it. I love it. And I love,
Okay, good.
well, the greatest thing is, I mean, like usually the characters that hate me the most on the show, like hate Thomas, I almost love the most and have like the best relationship with, because we always have these, we just have so many scenes together, but like me and Kelly, I just love her so much. So it's always fun because we start the scene and it's like we hate each other. And then as soon as the scene ends, we love each other.
Yeah.
And so that's always good.
Well, Kelly's one of the nicest people. I mean, she's just one of the nicest people out there. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we love Kelly. We love the Queen.
Ever.
Love the Queen.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's incredible.
She's amazing. You have gone through a really, I mean, and even this week. So before we get into your transformation, I had a little chuckle because I know with COVID and the way they're filming stuff, I know Casey knows people about behind the scenes. I did film stuff. There was that 1, 2, 3 punch that happened. It was like you charged towards Vinny, but no, when Finn came in, to me it made me laugh. It was like 3 dudes in this lab. Now who's gonna get together? And Vinny's on the ground. You guys are like, tell us. I just couldn't stop laughing. I loved it.
Oh, good. You couldn't stop laughing, but you loved it.
I loved it. At the same time, I love that. I mean,
Look, here's sort of the thing, like, especially like you look in the past and you say like, well, Thomas and Liam on the rooftop and they had this huge fight scene or whatever. And then now it's like, well, you have to understand that there is a lot more precautions that have to be taken when we come to filming, especially when it comes to anything that's like contact like that. So, and since we're shooting like 40, 50 scenes a day, it's like, you know, how are we going to do this? How are we going to block this? How are we going to safely do this within the constraints that we kind of have and shoot it? And I think that's, you know, sometimes we end up with something like that. It's like, well, this is an idea that the director has that we can shoot this, we can get it done, but we don't have to worry too much about like testing all the actors 5 times that week and you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's sort of interesting to watch the like first person sort of footage camera coming in and then you know, sort of thing. Yeah. Did you notice how both Thomas and Finn didn't hear him the first time? It's like it's like they heard him, but they were like, hold on, I think I heard you. But Vinny, let me ask you again. Very, very seriously this time. It was like Thomas was like, that seemed like your joking voice. I need you to be really serious right now, Vinny. After we've punched each other, please tell me did this happen? And then he answers, and then it goes over to Finn, and Finn's like, you know what? I've heard you in the lab before, and that didn't seem serious either. So really seriously, did you do this?
oh my God, you're killing me.
I'm glad that we hammered it home and we made sure that we got the truth out of Vinny.
Well, it made me doubt myself as a viewer. Why is
you're like, what?
Why
I
is
thought
he
I heard
back
him
up in
say
his?
it.
Yeah, why is he back up in his face again? He just said that he just admitted it.
Right.
Did I not hear right? Let me rewind. I actually had to rewind. Like,
Yeah.
Vinny just admitted to it, folks.
I just thought maybe it was for dramatic license. I just thought maybe he was like, we're going to make sure you really, and see, you and Vinny are giving hair at the same time. So he's giving hair, your hair gets more in the front, his is on the side, you're giving hair. And I was like, maybe just like, tell me, I want to hear you for your voice. I'm like, maybe it's a dramatic license, I thought. I don't know. I was laughing, but I thought dramatic license.
Well, what is reality, right? So like how do we know what's real? And so, you know, if something happened and now it's happening again. Is it happening again, or is it a progression of what's already happened? Or is it two universes colliding? In which case there's what happened in one universe and what happened in the other universe. And you're seeing both universes on this show. Maybe that's what happened.
Well, given Thomas's different universes, that's a really valid point.
He's got a few.
Yeah.
He's definitely got a few universes.
Yeah.
Thomas lives in like 4 different places at once.
But also there is that thing sometimes where you think you hear something and you do need clarification sometimes. When you get that shot, you're like, did I just hear? Like, you almost have to get that clarification.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes.
Well, all we were getting
from pretty Vinny, clear from the beginning.
All we were getting from Vinny, which was insane, was, dude, why are you coming after me? Dude, you need to chill.
Yeah.
Dude, I've always had, I'm like, I'm so done with the dude.
The more that he says it, the madder Thomas is getting.
Thomas just deck him and get it out of him.
I got to back up Joe here a little bit. The dudes are written in the script. I'm just saying that there's
hard.
And also, I mean, all the lines are written in the script. So, what happened was, I mean, it's like, sometimes things like it comes, maybe I just don't understand it. Maybe that's it. I'll just leave it at maybe I don't understand. But when a writer writes a script and then I get the script and I have to, I'm breaking it down. I see something like we say it, and then and I'm like, well, wait, but that doesn't. He just said it, and then it's like it becomes a whole thing. It becomes a collaboration, and it's like, hey, but what do we? And it's like, yeah, no. They actually want this to happen, so they have a purpose for it. And sometimes we don't know what happens with like Joe is what's really funny is that's just how Vinny's written. I mean, it's and somehow, I mean, like, I don't even know if I could get those lines and make it work the way that he does. Like, just the way he's able to play a guy that is so incredibly intelligent and yet a complete moron at the exact same time. I don't know how to do that. And he does it like you genuinely kind of believe him when he's doing all this stuff in the lab. He's running paternity tests. He's somehow made it to get a job in a lab after being a drug dealer for like 15 years. And he kind of seems like an idiot, but somehow he impresses people. And I don't know how it happens, but you believe that he's that. And yeah, a lot of those dudes are written in the script and he makes it work.
Well, he does. And everybody in the chat room is just like, they're loving you. Can you say hi to Kenneth Clark, please? Say hi to him.
Hey, Kenneth Clark.
There you go. But they're saying there's a lot of Thope fans in the chat room. That's very interesting. There's some Thope fans. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of soap fans in the chat room where you're interviewing a guy on a soap.
Hope.
This is crazy.
Thope.
Thomas and Hope.
Soap.
Fans.
Oh, Hope fans. Hope fans. I heard
Thomas
soap
and
fans.
Hope. Thomas and Hope.
Who are we expecting?
Thomas and Hope.
THOPE. Thope.
Thope. Oh, Thope fans. Thope. I love that word. You know when words just get created and they don't really make it, they just sound terrible, but it's like, how are you supposed to put together Thomas and Hope? Thope or hummus?
There you go. I'm hungry.
I'm gonna have some hummus with my pita bread. I don't know. I like the name Hope, which I mean the writers love the name Hope. I mean that word gets thrown around. Anytime that we can say hope for the future, hope in us.
God, that's so funny.
I hope for the hope of the future with hope. Yeah, no, that's great. But Thope I've always thought was like weird. Like seeing it, I know what they mean, but when I can't read it because then I sound like I'm like it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
Not great.
But here's what's funny.
Like
so
Finn is weird because
Finn.
Steffi and Finn, but it's like but it's a contradiction because Finn's such a good guy and we want Steffi to achieve love and happiness, and it's like it's a good marriage or relationship between these two characters, and yet it's sin. Like
Right.
No, it kind of seems like it's okay. I don't. Anyway.
I love it. The fans made it. They make it. That's what they're just going on.
So, okay, so we have now 45 minutes later, we have a lot of Thope fans in the comment section who have all left now. They're all done.
No, they're still here.
No.
They're still here.
Okay, they are. Okay, good. Hey, Thope fans.
Also say hi to Brianna.
I'm a Thope fan.
Say hi to Brianna.
Hey, Brianna.
There you
Brianna who? What's her last name?
Caldwell.
Caldwell. Hey, Brianna Caldwell. Brianna?
You know her?
It's a good name.
I know Brianna Caldwell. I think. Hold on a second. I'm not going to go down that road, but I'm pretty sure that I know Brianna Caldwell.
Oh, well, there you go, kids. Okay.
I've seen the name before. Maybe she's in my comment section.
Yeah,
maybe she's a Thope fan.
Yeah, maybe she's a Thope fan. Okay, so first of all, since we saw you last, Matt, you have had a transformation. This show, I love doing the show. We laugh on the show. We fight on the show. We talk on the show. I know you follow us. Amanda's always got things to say.
I predicted it. Thank you.
She predicted it.
She predicted
what was going to happen. Yeah.
She does. So she follows along. She's like, Thomas is going to have a redemption story. Like, because we're afraid that they wrote into a corner. But she's like, nope. They're gonna give him a redemption story.
Tammy's like, nope. I said, watch, Tammy, watch.
Amanda was the one that put the pieces together in regards to the conch on the head.
Yes.
Because I was just, oh, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is insane. And she's like, no, it's real. Remember when he bumped his head? Like on that little corner of the desk, and now he's got this tumor? Like, I don't understand. He fell off a cliff and nothing happened, but the desk hit on the head just changed everything.
Tammy,
twice.
Have you ever watched daytime television? They don't do things. It's not like this random action happens and it has no meaning in the future.
Everything. I know.
There's that rule. There's that rule that if you show a gun in like the first, act, or if you show the gun in the first act,
it means something.
That has to be important in the third act. Like, why would Thomas? Like, why would they show him hitting his head and just having a little goof in the office if it wasn't going to come back for some reason? And then Thomas starts going crazy. Come on, Tammy.
And wasn't there a moment when Vinny, who was he having a conversation with, and he took out a bottle of pills or something fell on the floor? Yeah, the pills fell, right?
And I said, something's going on. I was talking to him. He's talking to him.
Yeah.
And Amanda's like, that happened for a reason. There's something that's going to mean something. And she was right.
Yeah, right. I'll give you a hint. And Amanda's onto this. Amanda's what she's talking about. Tammy, if at any point you see something that happens on the show, it's gonna come back. Like, it's like it's just FYI. It's like, yeah.
Thank you so much for that clarification.
Someone pulls out a machete and then they don't talk about the machete, and you would just normally be like, well, for some reason they were carrying around a machete. No, that's actually going to be pivotal probably in the future. Just FYI.
We're not talking about machetes. We're talking about someone dropping a handkerchief and then the scene moves on. It's not that obvious.
Just to be fair, we shoot scenes, and we can edit them. And so, like, if someone happened to drop some pills in a scene and it wasn't a part of the show, then most likely we would reshoot that or edit it out. But I'm sorry, I have to pick on you because
thank you for the soap 101 breakdown. I appreciate it.
I just have to give you some crap because you always give me crap.
I've missed you so.
I was so excited.
I love you so much, Tammy.
I missed you so.
I love you too. Maybe I'm speaking your love language now. Hatred.
I was so excited for you coming on. I was like her and him and Tammy. All right, but you did. So, I mean, in all seriousness, I'm going to tell you this. That mannequin storyline, first you were like, what, the WTF and every other language word. But you gave some Emmy-worthy performances towards the end of that.
Oh,
seriously. You. When we're laughing and joking around, but seriously, you and Annika, I mean, like, oh my God. I mean, it was like, that was a turnaround where even Tami said she felt sorry for you. It's like not for your character. It's like that was it because you really were you really conveyed that whole losing grasp on reality, trying to get back to it. You know, and Annika was with you pound for pound, tear for tear. She was there. I mean, you guys are such a great team together. So can you just even talk about that whole? We talked to her about it already. The mannequin. The mannequin.
Oh boy, the mannequin. Well, here's the thing about that. So obviously this sort of started with and some articles. We got a lot of publicity for after coming back from the shutdown for doing scenes with mannequins. Like I think that Lawrence was doing some scenes where he had to, and then they had Torsten as well. He had to lean in, and and they had footage of this, and it was on Entertainment Tonight, and there's just a lot of like stories that ran with it, and it is funny. It's funny. It's great to make fun of, and it's because it's like it is ridiculous. So, but I think because of that, they saw that and they were like, well, maybe we can have some fun with that, right? And I didn't know where that was going to go because you never really know, but especially with a storyline that's that unique, it's like, well, where is this heading, and how are we going to play this? Because to me, it sort of feels like there's one of two directions. You either have to really seriously lean into it and make it a real thing, like a la Lars and the Real Girl, right?
Yes.
Where we have Ryan Gosling like actually believing that this is a real person, or you go in a very campy direction. It's just kind of like a goof, and it's funny, and it's sort of the lighthearted weirdness that's on the show. And I kind of made a decision early on, and I don't know if this is something that the writers intended or not. I just sort of made a decision, and I guess it's fortunate that it kind of went down that trajectory. But I just like, and not to get way too serious or to start bawling my eyes out, but there's just a very serious nature to mental illness, and there's so many people, especially this last year, that have been suffering so much. And mental illness is not something, you say it and you say it as if it's something that doesn't apply to you, and it's something that only applies to a very small number of people. But it's like, no, mental illness doesn't necessarily mean that. There's a lot of people out there that are suffering with depression or alcoholism, some kind of drug abuse, or a million different things, right? And when you're suffering within yourself, that suffering is more real than, this cup. It's sort of like it becomes the most important thing in your life because it so significantly affects you. And I think that it's important that we're empathetic to that, because there's a lot of, I don't like the term crazy. I hate when people call other people and I get, we've all kind of done it, especially in the heat of a moment, we'll say things that we don't necessarily mean, but it's very dismissive to say that someone's crazy, because it's like, it's completely without empathy. And it's like, this is a situation where I think everyone could go and justifyingly so, Thomas is crazy. Thomas is going crazy. But it's like, I want to be able to make this story something that people who are suffering with can relate to, and that people who aren't suffering with anything like this can at least be empathetic towards, and see what's actually happening within these people. It's like, I didn't want people to see Thomas just go crazy. I wanted people to see Thomas and see themselves in Thomas and see how they could get there. And that was really important to me. So from the beginning, I just made it sort of a mission when I had those scenes to give credence to people who are actually suffering. And I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. It was a very weird storyline to come across and to get, sort of given to me, but because I was able to, or I feel like I was able to create something real out of it that people could really, really relate to, especially in a time where things are very, very dark, that they could, at least within that darkness, relate and that's one of the things that everyone has been missing is human connection and empathy. And so I was hoping that I could give a little bit of that. So it really means a lot that you guys, appreciated the work.
And we're really thankful to the writers for having faith in you as an actor to be able to carry this storyline the way that you did. And just, you and Annika there was this one scene in particular where she went to Thomas's apartment to check on you. And that was the first time that she really understood how sick Thomas was. And there was a moment, I'm getting like chills, there was a moment where Thomas looks at Hope, and it was a mixture of not knowing where, he didn't know where you were completely confused when you saw Hope, and you literally saw Thomas's mentality begin to shatter, and Hope was going to be his only lifeline. Like, we knew as fans, this is the moment. Thomas is either going to completely derail in front of us, or Hope is going to be that lifeline. And Thomas, tears are streaming down his face. Hope, it was such a powerful, powerful moment, Matt. Truly.
It was
Appreciate
amazing.
that.
I was bawling, crying. It was crazy. And I kept telling everybody, could you imagine how scary that would be? And I would tear up and cry at your scenes, because it was like you could see on your face that you were grasping for reality, and you were scared, like, oh my God, what is happening to me? And you were like in and out. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's something, Matt. I made jokes at the beginning going, what in the Days of Our Lives is this? Because back in the 90s, Days of Our Lives was known for having Marlene possessed by the devil and aliens going down from the sky. And I interviewed Deidre Hall and Drake Hogeston years ago, and I asked them about the Marlene possessed by the devil storyline, and they kind of said what you just said now. They had to ground it in some kind of truth. So you could have all the crazy stuff going around it, mannequins or her possessed by the devil, doesn't matter. If it's grounded in truth, the story can work. Obviously good writing, good acting, all that stuff, but the story has possibilities. So yeah, there's this crazy mannequin looks like Hope, and it's this stuff going on here, but that's almost kind of like that's just part of the dressing, but you guys brought the rest of it to the ground. That's what I think.
Well, thank you. I know that, so, I guess there's sort of two things I want to say about that, but one is that I would say, and this is to anyone who's watching, I think that is suffering, whether it's with mental illness or if it's just general depression, or if whatever. If someone gives you a lifeline, you are almost obligated to take it and take it. And sorry. I said I wasn't going to cry. So what I would say is that if you are really suffering and someone gives you a lifeline, like Hope gives Thomas sort of a lifeline, she's there, and he takes it, and thank God, and that's something that, especially in those scenes, there's so much. You could relate this to 1,000 different things. It's not just a guy experiencing what you would describe as a paranoid schizophrenia. It's not just that, it's not just the break between reality and whatever fictional reality that your brain is creating. It's like, well, especially in that sense, it's like, well, what is reality? What's real? And that's kind of the joke that I was making earlier, but it's true. It's like, if you have an experience, how is that not real? Right? It's like, it could be more real than anything that's around you. So how is that not real? And why should we discard that? We shouldn't. And especially with the people that I've seen who have gone through, there's a lot of people who suffer with issues that they create sort of a distance from themselves and what they know objectively say to be true and the reality that they're experiencing. And but if you're in that situation, you know, one of the best, I mean, just the best advice I can give is to reach out and to, you know, whether that's with people who completely understand it or anyone, just reach out, because, you know, there's this experience that people get that is like, I'm not worth it, you know? And they're like, I'm not going to put that on anyone else or whatever. And it's like, no, but you are. So please do. And if someone is dismissive to you, well, screw them, because there's millions of people out there that aren't. And, you know, but reach out and speak the truth forward. Like, what you're experiencing is true and it's real. And yeah, and you're worth it. And you're worth the help that comes from it. So yeah, anyway, I'll stop crying now.
Well, you know, we are part of the village. You know, no, I love it. No, it's great. No, it's great because no, we're part of the village. We're part of the village. We're supposed to lean on each other.
Yeah,
we're supposed to, no man is an island. We're supposed to lean on each other. And I know people I don't want to bother you. No, you're supposed to bother me. That's the point.
Right.
Like you just said. And that's what we're all here together. You know, so
that's exactly right. I started following Sam Neill. I think Sam Neill he's the actor from he's from New Zealand or is Australian? I think New Zealand.
I think it's New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah, I think it's New Zealand. Anyway, he the actor from Jurassic Park, and but he has this thing he says in a lot of videos. He says, "Are you okay?" And it's such an interesting question because a lot of us brush off the question or don't answer it honestly. But it can be such an inquisitive question and really a moment for connection with other people. Like, genuinely, what are you experiencing? Are you okay? And in those moments when Thomas was going through what he was going through, he was not okay. And thank God that, you know, he had someone who was loving and compassionate and caring and reached out and showed up, because, you know, if she didn't, then what do you know? What's going to actually happen? So, you know, thank God for that.
Well, it gave Thomas, it spun him off in a whole different direction in a certain way, because what came out of that wasn't your fault. The whole Liam Steffy thing, which led us to our first conversation today. It sped you off to a point where it's like, Thomas didn't do anything wrong this time. Thomas didn't do anything. This is not him. You know, he didn't force Liam to look at and see a fake hope or anything. So this time, it's a different position that Thomas is in. He's not the schemer this time. He's not the person. Mm-hmm. I know some folks are still kind of like, are you sure he's back to normal? Is he okay? But it was like Liam and Steffy did stuff. It had nothing to do with you. You didn't do it. And so it kind of put Thomas in a whole different kind of being friends with Hope again, kind of, and she forgiving you. And it was like, that was an interesting take. Amanda, I know we used to talk about that all the time on the show about that, but then becoming friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I thought that at first, don't get mad at me, but at first I thought, can I trust you? Can I trust Thomas? Because all of a sudden he's like, you know what? Forgive Liam. Like, you need to do you, right? And I'm like, can I trust him? I want to trust him. Can I?
And now,
I mean, I think that's very, very much, I'm sure that's a lot of fans' thoughts, especially in those moments. I mean, it's sort of the boy who cried wolf in a lot of ways, right? So you have this guy who, but I think that's one of the fun things to be able to experience about this character, or not fun, but but impactful things to experience about this character is how everyone else's perception based on his own actions has so significantly changed. And I think that's that's like this experience that he just went through, which is sort of a life-threatening experience, but it's also a an experience that no one would ever forget. I mean, that sort of break from reality and being just thankful to be alive can create a huge euphoric moment within your life, where you see things completely objectively and what really matters, right? And I think it's realistic to see Thomas and what he's done in the past and assume, well, he might do that again. And I don't think that's far from truth. I think that he very, very, very easily could find himself falling back into that. But I think what's important is that that you have this moment that affects him. It sort of transitions him to this new state of mind, and hopefully he holds on to that to some degree. But I mean, you can obviously see, Thomas is not forgiving of Liam. He's being as understanding and compassionate as possible, to the end that he knows that Hope genuinely wants him to be a good person and to be the man that she believes he can be, and that's genuinely what's going to make Hope happy. And so objectively seeing that, he just removes, I think that he's only able to do this because of this experience that he just had, and that he's able to remove sort of his innate feelings for Liam and his anger, which I think is spawned more toward Steffi's side, because Thomas is extremely protective of Steffi. He talks about Hope a lot, because if he goes over to Steffi and he starts really feeling that, then I don't think he would be able to be objective in any sense. So yeah, it's sort of a wonderful telling of someone who is able to objectively be compassionate, which is hard for us to do. We let our emotions override us all the time, and rightfully so. It's like, when someone wrongs you or someone wrongs someone you love, it's like, it makes 100% sense to find yourself going down that path. And I think that it's really cool that Thomas was able to, in these moments, objectively be a sense of love and compassion.
What's funny?
Yeah.
And go ahead, Tami.
I was just gonna say, I think the turning point for me was after the surgery. Thomas is in the hospital. Ridge comes in. You're having a conversation, and Thomas starts crying because he had worked so hard to be a better man. And then all of this happened. And he felt like he had taken 1,000 steps back, and now everybody was going to start judging him again. And Thomas is crying because he's trying so hard. And it was in that moment that's, my God, I believe him. I believe the struggle is real here. And there's no blame. Thomas isn't blaming anyone. He's not making excuses. He's being accountable. And I could see the pain and the frustration. And I thought, whew, let's see if this can stick, because there was just so much pain.
Well, also,
I think that there was a behind the scenes moment. I'm trying to remember exactly what the line was. But there was something that we actually, we didn't change the script, but we changed a little. Like, there was a line that was written with a period at the end, right? Which is a statement. And Torsten, for some reason, the scene, like, we were running it, and the scene just didn't have what we wanted. And I sort of talked about, I was like, it's just like something's not right, because of this is how Thomas is feeling, right? So, like, and there's no certainty, in his thought process, especially after what he just went through. He's questioning himself, his motives, everything about him, because reality wasn't even reality for a while, and Torsten just gave we went through it back and forth for a minute, and he said, well, what if that becomes a question? And I'm trying to remember I can't remember what the statement was, but I remember it became a lot like, feeling that in the moment was like, it was very impactful because it was Thomas acknowledging that all he wanted was he wants his father to love him, but also to believe in him. And in this moment, how could he be sure? How could he be sure about how he feels or anything like that? And he asked the question, and I think just the question by itself had so many implications. And it's like, that's sort of the greatness of collaboration, but also, working with Torsten, because he can sometimes see things that it's like you're trying to make a scene and it's like, I don't see how A and B and C equal whatever. And it's like, well, and he might see something in that. We can make minor changes, and then we call upstairs and see if we can do it. And if we're able to, then, sometimes those things work out really well. At some point I'm gonna remember what the question was, but anyway, but that was definitely in that scene. And I just remember that changed the scene 100%, because it allowed you to see Thomas instead of Thomas putting on a front or pretending that he knows what he's doing, or that, oh, I've had this experience, now I know things. It's like, no, he's in this moment of like, he's completely questioning everything that he believes is real. And in that moment, and all he wants is his father to, to not be dismissive of him, and to love him. And he feels unlovable. So, and those kind of moments, they come and go. I love when I'm able to have those scenes with Torsten, because there's so much history in those characters, and there's so much meat when scenes like that happen. It's like, you don't even have to write anything, because, it could be a most basic scene, but because there's so much weight behind all their words, it really becomes so impactful.
Yeah, I mean, see, also what's interesting between your character and the Liam character, it's not straight up villain versus good guy. I mean, Liam, I guess, is said to be the good guy, kind of, but he's not really a good guy either. And I love that you stick it to him, your character sticks it to him, because it's like he does this stuff. And it's like, and see, for you, and like you said a little earlier, you have two women you love in your life, your sister and Hope. And this Liam guy, this Liam dude, he is he's affecting both of them. So Thomas is in a position, like was an interesting position.
Well, that's what's fun about that. I mean, that's some of the things I love the most about those scenes, is because, like, you see, okay, so like even in the script, you can tell from how it's edited and everything that Liam is our hero, right? But sometimes even in the script, it's like our hero, after Liam does something, right? And it's like, and I look at that and I go, our hero? I'm like, what? Who is watching the show and going, Liam is the hero? Like, he's not our hero. Exactly. Well, and that's what's so great about is that Thomas is such the nemesis to, our hero. And it's like, well, but Thomas he's got a lot of justifyingly correct things that are bad, mean to say about Liam. And everyone goes, yeah, because it's true. And it's like, I get to, that's one of the fun things, is I get to just ream on him. I just get to lay into him from time to time, because it's like, no, everyone, stop pretending like this guy is the hero. He's not. That doesn't make Thomas the hero, but it's definitely like, no, he's not. How is this guy the hero? Screwing with these women for years.
Thank you.
Yell out for Amanda. Amanda, tell him, girl. That's your thing. Tell him, girl.
I say that all the time. They're always like, oh, Liam's so good. What? What are you talking about?
The Waffle King. The Waffle King.
Like, are you watching the same show that I'm watching?
Right.
Yeah. That's also the great thing is, like, from time to time, there will be moments where they call down from the booth or whatever, and we're in the middle of shooting a scene, and they go, we're really short on time, so can you stretch it? And then, like, from time to time, what's great is, like, that they give me, or someone, they give me, whoever's there, they're like, we're like 5 minutes short. So whatever you can add, and it's like, I'm like, okay, I can just go off on Scott for like 10 minutes about how much of a piece of crap he is. And it's like, Okay, do it. And it would sometimes those moments make it into the show, and that's what I love that, because it's like it all comes from this place of truth. It comes from improv, which I love doing, and then it also I think that it adds a reality and a connection with the audience, because the audience is thinking these thoughts, but nobody's saying them. It's like when Brooke for a long time is just basically like accosting Thomas for forever, and it's like, you're a broken record at this point. Like, stop talking, Brooke. Like, so if you just like allowed him to do something for a few weeks and then called him out when something went wrong, people would pay attention to you. But at this point, it's like, stop talking. And like that's when I'm in the scenes, I get to say things like that to her, and the audience goes, "Thank you," which I love. So that's great.
No, it is, and we do, and on this show we do all the time too. But that's the talents of Scott Clifton, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Kelly Lang. I mean, they're so talented at what they do. It's like you look at, and even when Liam's right, sometimes we're like, "Shut up!" Like, we know you get it, you're right, but we're supposed to be rooting for him, but we're like yelling at him. It happens all the time, and so it's like, we know you get it, you're right, but just shut up. And then you throw in this whole Finn thing. So now you got another guy who you guys are kind of on the same side, kind of, because you're like against Liam.
Well, you're both protecting Steffi.
Yes.
Right.
That's the priority, is Steffi's well-being.
Right.
Finally.
And I think that's sort of the unspoken, what's going on. This is something that it's a decision I made sort of early on with Thomas, but I think it's all based in it's when I started researching the history, and I was trying to put together sort of his life story up until now. So all those things can affect anything that happens going forward, obviously. But in just looking at the past, it's sort of like he's got one person. I mean, there's one person who's had his experience other than himself, and that's Steffi. And they're both people that have been kind of traumatized and hurt from their history, especially with their parents, that they don't allow themselves to go to that place of really connecting or talking about those issues. But it's something that it's like that's why I love when I have scenes with Jackie, because she sort of comes from the same place. And when we have a little scenes together, even if it has nothing to do with that, there's this connection between these characters that's inseparable. Like this brother and sister that have genuinely loved each other unconditionally since they were kids, but they've been in the trenches together in the same thing. It's like they went through the same war together, and to get to the place that they're at now. That's obviously not comparing war to what they're experiencing, but you know what I mean? Like when you're going through something traumatic and you have someone with you through that, it creates a bond that you can't explain. And I think Thomas and Steffi have that. So every time that we have scenes, or I have scenes that implicate Steffi, it's about Steffi. For me as the actor, my thought as Thomas is about Steffi. Even if I'm talking about Hope, Hope is a deflection. I mean, that doesn't mean that he doesn't love Hope, because he does, but like Hope is a lot of times a deflection. Like I can talk about Hope. I can talk about how you hurt Hope. It's really hard for me to talk about you hurting Steffi, because you hurting Steffi makes me want to literally wring your throat. It makes me want to beat you senseless. So like I can deflect, and I can talk about Hope, and I can talk about Steffi, but only to a degree. But I think that all the pain and the real, like that inseparable love that Thomas has is with Steffi, and I don't think that'll ever be broken. So obviously their connection between, as characters, you see Finn, who genuinely loves her. He sees this woman that he's fallen in love with, and Thomas sees that. And I think since day one, he saw that and he respected that, because it's like, well, at least you will genuinely put her interests before your own, which Liam, he feels like, has never done.
And I think too, the one thing that I enjoy about the character of Finn is he respects the fact that Steffi makes her own decisions, her own choices, because it makes me just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. when Steffi was going through the whole thing with Bill and they slept together, and Ridge was, Bill took advantage of Steffi. It's not, Steffi didn't know what she was doing. And, it's like, and Steffi had to repeatedly say, no, this was
like, I made
my
the
own
choice.
free will. And then sleeping with Liam, that was the default button again. This isn't Steffi's fault. You know, it's Liam's fault. It's like, people.
She was there.
She was there. She's making her own choices.
She was there. She was there.
Yeah.
She was there. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like those moments in a lot of ways, like if the fans don't, and I think that Jackie does a great job with being able to take, say, you know, a scene that may make you believe that may give you that sense, and add the bit that is Steffi that shows you, no, Steffi made a choice, and Steffi, because like Steffi makes bad choices. Doesn't make her a bad person, and she's chosen to go down the wrong path before, but within that, it's like she's still she owns up to her mistakes. She's honest. She's an honest person, and to try and play it off as if, you know, like she was at effect to the world around her when she participated in it, weakens the character of Steffi, which I don't think, I would never think of Steffi as a weak character, and Jackie especially as a weak woman. So, and I think that's what's one thing that's so great about Jackie, is that she can she's such a strong woman, and she can come in and no matter what, like, you don't believe that she was at effect to the world around her. It's like, no, she participated in it. But that's Jackie. It's like, you know what? She's strong, and you love her, and she makes mistakes, but she owns up to her mistakes, and she moves forward. And it's like, well, you know, that's all of us. We can all see ourselves in that. So that doesn't make her a bad person. Just, you know, and that's what's fun, like, especially with like Liam, is like, you know, he never like has to own up to his own mistakes, ever.
Never. Liam's like the gift that someone gives you in like a big Louis Vuitton box, and then you open it and it's like a ring pop from like the dollar store, like a 50-cent movie, and you're like, what?
Yeah, this. That's what I'm getting. No. Yeah.
This is supposed to be a good gift, right? He's supposed to be good.
Yeah, but you know, but I'll give Scott a lot of love, because, you know, you have to understand, like, he doesn't write that, and he doesn't.
No, he's amazing.
He does an incredible job playing the character, and being able to take the heat that comes with being that character, because there's a lot of heat.
He's so good at that.
Thomas is like, can be the bad guy, and he's like and he's screwed up and all this stuff, but it's like he is him. Whereas like Scott's playing like two things at once. He's trying to create this enormous reality within the situation and not make Liam out to be a complete jerk. But it's like everything he does is the actions of a complete jerk.
Thank you.
So it's like,
right.
So, but then the fans rag on him, and he's like, I know, I get it, you know. But that's one of the things I love. I mean, he spent so much time working on making this character as relatable as he possibly can in one way or another. And you know, if he were to just play what was on the page, I mean, there would be no love for Liam at all. But I think that what he brings to it is sort of incredible in a way, because, I mean, yeah, you can hate him, but you at least acknowledge that he at heart isn't a terrible human being. He's not meaning to constantly cause pain.
He never means it, Thomas. It's like how Thomas is what I mean. It's like he never means it, right?
Right.
How Thomas was like, oh well, he didn't mean it. That's what I started saying. Like, oh well, she didn't mean to kiss Bill. She fell into his lips.
Right, exactly.
Like, no, we love Scott because he's so good at walking the line of like, I hate him this week, And then next week, I love him. Right? So good at that.
Yeah.
And he gave us.
Why would you want to keep watching him if you weren't able to do that? Because otherwise, it's just like, God, every time he comes on the screen, then it's like, no, done. But he does it in such a way that you really want to watch him. Yeah.
And he gave us one of the most gratifying Liam moments in the history of the character, in my opinion, where because he kept apologizing, and you get sick of hearing him apologize over and over and over again. Yeah. There was a particular scene, I think they were at the house, and he got on his knees and was begging on his knees. And I was just, yes, yes, thank you. Yeah. Now just stay there.
Yeah, he's like, get on your knees.
Until I tell you to get up, just stay there.
These women are ruthless. It
was great.
But I'll tell you. I'll say, Scott,
I was just going to say there's something magnificent about that also connects with, you know, what most women that I know experience with men when they're dating is like there's a lot of trash out there. And it's like, it just is. And it's sad that, you know, some men behave the way they do. Now, it might be that I live in a city and it's LA. And so there's a lot of weird dudes. But from what I hear, it's like, wait, he did what? He said what? He did what? Like, why? Where's your character? Where's your moral backbone at all? And I was like, I feel bad for a lot of people that are, you know, sort of out in that realm. And it's like, it's a world full of idiots and Liams. And and you're really trying to search for that Finn, and they're few and far between, you know. Not well, you know, Finn or even, you know, it could be a multitude of characters or whatever, but you know what I mean.
Carter.
Like it's
thinking that.
Like Carter, Carter,
like Carter. Oh my God, like Carter.
So
buddy.
Yeah,
you love him.
God, this dude, man, how can you look like that?
This is playing right now. They giving him.
This guy's got he's literally the complete package.
That's what I always say.
It's like, how does Zoe do what she just you know, I'm like,
thank you. That's my question.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think it helped. I mean, Lawrence is such a good guy. Like, he's just such a genuinely good-hearted person that just comes through in whatever he does on the show. But like, yeah, that's what's so interesting about his character, and kind of like the direction they're going now is sort of, you know, they're giving him some more meaty stuff, and it's good.
Yeah.
And, you know, and his character will make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but like, it's just like, God, how do you start dating that guy? And then, anyway, but objectively, it's so easy. It's so easy to be objective and say, you know, you're an idiot. Why wouldn't you just take what's right in front of you? But it's like, well, you know, because they don't know. They don't know. You have to have your own experience, and you don't know until you know. And maybe in 10 years from now, Zoe would be like, I'm stupid. Probably less time than that, but you know.
Yeah.
You know, the beauty of Carter's, the character of Carter and the character of Thomas, there's a parallel in my brain, because Carter doesn't show emotion very often. He's always in a good mood, and he's always super sweet and super kind. And this has given Lawrence, you know, an opportunity to roar. I mean, there have been moments where he's actually yelled at Zoe, and it's frightening because we hadn't seen that side of him before. And with Thomas, when Hope says, "Are you actually telling me I should forgive Liam?" And Thomas comes back with, "I'm telling you that I know how much you love Liam, and I know how much you love your family, and you need to do what's going to make you happy." Yeah. That was a side of Thomas, is like, okay, this is the real deal. This is, I love how the writers are, again, giving Lawrence, giving Carter an opportunity to see sides we've never seen before. I don't know who this Thomas is.
Right.
I've never seen this Thomas before.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Ever. So it's been fun.
Oh, good. Oh my God. I think, guys, I think Tami might start liking Thomas.
I know. I told you.
you. I wore her down. I just kept chiseling. I wore her down.
She's seeing it.
Whatever it was 9 years ago when we had our last little rendezvous, that I never would have expected that. So I'm really happy. Maybe I've actually worn Tami down a little bit.
Well, stay on your good side, and you'll still stay on your side. I mean, your character.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any choice in that, but I'll still try and keep wearing her down. Doesn't matter what happens with Thomas. I'll keep. It'll be an every day in the back of my head when I start filming. I'm gonna be like, well, what little idiosyncrasy, like what little thing can I add to today's scene that will make Tami like me more?
Oh
I'm just sitting on your shoulder in a boa with a cigarette.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
Prove yourself, buddy.
Right. Oh my God. Well, Matthew, we keep you here all day. We can't do that, of course. But I mean, you are a good sport always. You come on our show, and we love you. We do. And folks, he follows us online. He follows Bold Beautiful Universe online. He does follow and comment and like stuff. So go follow him at Matt Atkinson. But he does follow. So we appreciate you always. You're a friend of the show. So thank you.
No, I appreciate you guys. It's always fun. Amanda, it has been so nice to meet you for the first time. And hopefully
Nice to meet you.
not the last time. Maybe in 9 years from now, when we get back together, we'll have a more in-depth conversation. Tami, always a pleasure. And James, living the dream over here. Look at this guy.
I do a few things.
Awesome. Well, it's been great hanging out with you guys.
Thank you so
Dave,
much,
Matthew
as
Atkinson.
always.
So go ahead and follow him and follow Bold and the Beautiful, of course. It's on every day on CBS. So there's no interruptions nowadays. I think now we're back to normal. It's just regular shows.
God, I hope. Please.
I hope so too.
Can we just be able to watch television again?
I know. No more preemptions, no more other stuff.
We don't need any of it anymore. Just let us check out for a minute, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, same thing. Amanda, somebody can find you, Somebody can find you on social media.
You can find me on all the socials at The Bold and Beautiful Podcast, and I'll be putting out a new episode this week.
Yay. And Tami.Govea.
You can find me on Insta, Tami.Govea, and on Twitter and Facebook at Tami Govea.
And you can follow me. We're all James Law Jr. are sold at James Law Jr. on all social media platforms and TikTok. I'm on there. Go ahead and follow me at TikTok. And of course, JLJ.
I don't have a TikTok, but I gotta start seeing these videos. Are you doing little dances and stuff there, James?
Well, no, I do all kind of stuff. I have one about an egg. I have a thing about an egg. You gotta go. I'll just tell you that.
The egg. All right, so I'm gonna check that out as soon as we get off here. I'm going on TikTok.
I do some. Yeah, I'm James Law Jr. TikTok. JLJ Media is my online network. So please like, subscribe, comment, share this video. This is my number one show. I mean, come on, folks. Thank you so much for making this show so successful. You guys in the chat room. Thanks to Eva. We love her so much. She's just like the best for helping us get our guest on the show. We appreciate her. We appreciate her very, 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 very much. I think it's one of her son's birthdays today. So happy birthday to him also. I think it is. I think it is today. And of course,
it's today. Yeah,
it is today. It is today.
I don't know what the day is today. It's the 14th.
I know. It's like, it's a Sunday, it's a Tuesday. I don't know anymore what's going on. Yeah. I don't really know what's going on anymore. And of course, Bold and Beautiful Universe on all social media platforms. Everyone, please have fun and watch your soaps. See you next time.